Hello and welcome to Amazing Women in Business, a podcast where we celebrate the courage and tenacity of women who are not just participating, but profoundly transforming the business landscape. I'm Demi Lin, your host in navigating the complexities of personal and professional growth across cultures. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to share some numbers I just came across. As of October 2024, the unemployment rate in the United States stands at 4.1%. It's taking job seekers an average of 8 months to land a new job. Those stats can feel overwhelming, especially with economic uncertainty and corporate restructuring on the rise, potential layoffs, wondering how to pay the bills if you suddenly find yourself out of a job. Have you considered starting a side business or creating a backup plan to ensure financial stability? And if so, have you struggled to figure out where to start and what challenges you need to prepare for? Well, you are not alone. Today's guest, Sherry Chen, is here to offer some inspiration and practical advice. Born and raised in China, Sherry is a graduate of the prestigious Tsinghua University, often referred to as the MIT of China. She moved to US and went on to earn dual master's degrees. Her career spans from working with Fortune 500 companies to taking on leadership roles in the Silicon Valley startup. But what truly sets Sherry apart is her decision to embrace a dual, actually a triple career path that built a strong financial foundation for her family. She successfully navigated through financial crisis and even achieved early retirement. On top of that, she's an accomplished tennis player and captain, having led multiple tennis teams, with one of them competing at the USTA National Championship. Sherry's journey is proof that balancing multiple career paths and passions can provide both security and fulfillment. I'm thrilled to welcome her to the show today and share her insights and strategies. Let's dive in. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, Amazing Women in Business.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I've been thinking about having an interview with you for a long time because I know you have a lot of story to share. Okay, how about we kick off the podcast with a brief introduction of yourself and share with us about your background?
Sure, yeah. I was born and raised in Beijing, and I went to Tsinghua University, study chemical engineering. After graduate, I came to US to study, continue my education, went to Georgia Tech for a master. Then I started working for a Fortune 500 company as a product engineer in the chemical industry. And I didn't quite exactly like the environment of, chemical engineering company, chemical company. And I was wondering what are those people who are making those business decisions, what kind of degrees or background they have. And most of them have MBAs. So I was like, okay, I'm going in for my MBA. So during my MBA study, I realized I actually like finance the most. So my MBA was focusing on finance. I was really wanted to go to Wall Street, but didn't make it. So I ended up going to another Fortune 500 company as a financial analyst, so doing corporate finance. I worked in that company for more than 20 years. Early on was in the finance, and then later on was in product management. Actually, during those during that time, I also started sort of a side business, dual career path. I did as a financial planner, and up to today, I'm still doing that. I enjoy both. Yeah, it's really good. My husband has a real estate business, and so I also did a realtor license. I'm good at exams. I can get all sorts of licenses.
Pass that exam quickly and just get a license.
Yeah, so we have 2 boys. One is in college right now. The other one is a senior. So we're in this stage of my life that we're sort of partial retired, so don't have to work full time anymore. So really enjoy our lives right now. So,
yes, that's the life I can't wait to get into.
You have to really work hard for it, and I can tell you more about it.
Okay, that's okay. That's the part. You were having a full-time job, and then you took the dual path as a financial advisor or analyst, and then also be the realtor. So you've been juggling with three areas. What inspired you or motivated you to get into these three things? It's a lot, and also as a full-time job mom, working mom.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it is truly a lot. And people sometimes say I'm like too energetic, or I have the energy to juggling all this. But what triggered me to do this is actually the story back in 2008 when the housing market crashed. There's a financial crisis. And my group, I was in actually product marketing group at that time. My group was dissolved, so I was on the layoff list. And given I was okay doing the financial analyst work, my previous manager referred me to another group. So within a week, I find a job within the company. So luckily, so I didn't lose the job. But within another week, my husband actually lost his job. So we were very shocked by that situation because we were wondering at that time, it was like, if two of us both lose job, we have two young kids and daycare bills to pay, mortgage to pay, and I was like, that would be a disaster. So then we were like, okay, we sort of need a backup plan. And he given he's an engineer and he's decided to do real estate. Then later on, I ran into this financial company to say you can do financial planning as a financial planner, part-time. So like, sure, I can do that. I have a finance background. So I start to learn that, spend a lot of time. So we were really, really busy for those few years. Kids were young. He's working on his real estate business. I'm working on my financial planning business. But we worked really hard for those 5-6 years and to establish our business. And then that actually set the foundation. Later on, we were able to say he never later on find another job. He didn't have to. He just basically worked for himself. And for me, I was still doing full-time job for more than 20 years just to provide a stability for the family. But those early due career time set up the foundation so that we can actually retire early. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, you're only in your early 50s. How could you retire? And you have a kids in college, in private school, which is very expensive, so $80,000. But we were like, I calculated and was like, okay, we should be able to get by. So we don't have to work full time and be very, very busy, So that's why I can enjoy tennis with you.
You have a lot more time than I do. So that's the part I'm very jealous about. Can I say that the dual career path is one of the key contributors that you and Kevin today, right, can enjoy this earlier retirement?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
But then when the kids were young and you guys were really working multiple jobs, you were wearing 3 hats. What was I assume the biggest challenge will be kids, family, but what's your biggest challenge? If I was in your shoes, it would be my biggest challenge, but what was yours?
Obviously, the time is actually a challenge, right? You only have 24 hours a day. So luckily we were, my husband and I, we were very on the same page because he lost his job earlier and he started doing real estate and was very supportive of him. So I was full-time working, and then on any spare time I was taking care of the kids, or sometimes we had grandparents to help us for a short period of time. But the parents would watch for the kids, and I would be helping him to, working on the house and And like we were literally bought books on how to wire your house, and I was telling him like put this black wire with that white wire, you name it. Just we learn a lot of those stuff. We were supporting each other. So when later on, when I run into the financial planning business, he was also very supportive of me to do that. So he would spend more time with kids, and so I can go out and study and training, learning all this stuff. So we were, if any, we probably sacrificed a little bit of the time with the kids, because a lot of time is always one parent with the kids. So sometimes I even complain. I was like, I always take the kids to, let's say, a party or a kids group and kids playing date and stuff on my own, just myself. And I was like complaining. Now I feel like sometimes I'm a single mom, but he has to work, and then vice versa. I have to work, and he was watching the kids. So that's our challenge and sacrifice. But I think it's all worth it if you watch, go back, take a look. Yeah.
So that's pretty good that you guys really understand each other and you support each other on the same page.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that make a big difference.
Totally. I'd say if any, if anybody who wants to do extra career or side business, both people the couple has to be on the same page, because in the financial planning business, we went through a lot of trainings, and then discussing with other people, and then sometimes you do hear other people talking about, oh, my husband don't like me to do this, and I was not watching the kids and stuff. So if you don't get the spouse support, it's very hard to do anything. So I'd say husband and wife should be totally on the same page on family business, right? Yeah, yeah. And for the realtor, it's actually him pushing me to get a realtor license, because I was.
You're good at exam.
So exam itself, it's not a problem. I could totally get it. But before, we went through many realtors, and you know how the realtor businesses, there are good ones, there are not so good ones there. So he was like, we gave a lot of commission to the realtors we've been through, and he's like, why don't you get a license? I was like, I already have a license. I already have all this continuous education, all those work needs to do to maintain a license. So I didn't want it to do it, but he eventually pushed me enough, so I finally get it. In fact, if any, we probably should have got it earlier. Yeah, but I was able to juggle all these.
All three careers with a young family.
Yeah.
So what woke you up in the middle of the night? Anything give you the good or bad sleep during that time?
It's interesting you asked that. I actually, so like I said, later on I was a product manager in a big company. So I was often share with my team that, as a product manager, you have to constantly work, looking for what other companies doing, competitors doing. So I was sharing with people, the worst thing I was worried about is like, I woke up in the morning and saw some news and that some competitor come up with a brand new product that wipes everybody out. It's like Tesla or like Elon Musk is doing. So that I was telling the team saying, hey, everybody, you need to be, on your toes, constantly thinking of what's our next generation products and what we should do to improve to the next generation, not just the slightly improvement. So that sort of thing actually keep me awake on my, professional career.
The new product launch of your competitor who have a breakthrough, and while you guys are working on a marginal product.
Yeah, totally. You understand that, right? Because you worked on product management and strategy before, right? So you understand that. I was like, really, that would be a nightmare to happen, because as working in a Fortune 500 company, sometimes we get complacent. We have good products, so we are like majority market share. We don't need to worry about the competitor, but you never know. The next one who beats you may not be even in the same industry, just like, Elon Musk or, like a Kodak who died, by by digital film rather than the analog films, right? So it's that sort of things. So yeah, I always worry about things like that, and I try to keep up with things. Yeah.
So I think I kind of get the observation, the answer for my next question, but I'm still going to ask. What's your personal belief or behavior or routine that you think contribute to your performance at work or bring you to where you are today?
Yeah, so it's to continue with that conversation. I think that is the me as never satisfied with your current situation. Always think about what's potentially going to happen. That leads me to where I am. Obviously, the 2008 housing bubble, the shock, like gave me that opportunity to make sure, okay, yeah, don't just rely on one job and think you can retire from that job. In fact, I read a book or some statistics says, usually in US, your career, by average, you probably could get laid off 3 times. So for 30 years of career, average every 10 years, you get laid off once. So that was my first 10 year. I got that layoff. So which made me think I don't want the second layoff, right? That's why I want to do the backup career. And also, even on the job, you want to make sure, you want to always think about the next step and then be ahead of everything so that you don't get into a situation that you can't dig yourself out. Yeah.
I think there's a perfect Chinese word, 居安思危, to just explain what you just explained. Right. While exactly. You're even in the safety net, you're still thinking about what can I do better to prepare for the future or prevent from the damage that potentially happen.
Right. Yeah, totally. That's the word.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very good. Looking into your investment, I think yours obviously a pretty good investment. But what's your favorite or your best investment on yourself? Not on your family, not on your kids, but on yourself.
We always spend a lot of time investing on kids, right? No matter it's time or money, right? To get them all sorts of things, right? Like a lot of moms don't invest on their own, or we are almost always the last one to invest on, right?
Yeah.
So I think for myself, this whole financial planner career is actually the investment to myself. Because obviously you can't just say, hey, I want to do this, I'm just going to do it. And you had to spend a lot of time learning. I went to conferences, I went to trainings and boot camps, you name it. I even went to Tony Robbins, seminars. Leadership seminars. And so a lot of those time is not just only the knowledge part of the training. You know the financial concepts. You know how to save money for taxes, and you know how to invest and manage risk. But also, it's a lot of investment on soft skills, right? How to work with other people, how to understand people's needs, right? So what solution we can provide to help them to manage their family's financial situation, or even offer things they don't even think they could potentially need, right? So with a lot of those trainings, I think that's the best investment to myself. I grow with that too. Yeah. The other thing about that is also because financial planning, this is more almost entrepreneurship kind of business, right? You have to lead your own business, not like the corporate job, right? Corporate job, you always have the corporate structure and you have the manager and you have the people you manage. If you tell your people what to do, they usually do it, right? Because you have that authority. Versus as an entrepreneurship career, or you have to lead, almost like lead by example. You have to learn how to lead by example, because you have no authority to telling anybody else what to do. They could easily quit that thing, right? It's like, I didn't make money, now I'll just leave, right? How do you influence people on that sort of situation? It's almost like leading a tennis team, the same thing, right? You don't have any authority on anything. I think a lot of those investment on my own on how to be a good person and how to do better on certain situation really helped me to get to where I am today.
Yeah, that explains. I think your investment, you are so committed to investing your own time and energy into your own improvement.
Yeah.
So that explains, because maybe I can tell a little bit about how we got to know each other, right?
Sure.
Like 3 years ago, we just moved to this area, and I was looking for a house, and I was sending a message in a group chat asking anyone can help me, and then that time you jump in and you provide some realtor support.
Right.
And that time you're still having a full-time job.
Yes.
Right? And then you build the tennis team and then become the tennis captain, and we all play in your team. And now you get into the financial advisor and helping us providing some support, like what would be the financial options for your family. So you've been able to do a lot of stuff. And now I think I made that connection. You make a lot of investment on yourself in early of your time to make sure that you got all the skill sets.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting it that way.
It is. That's how we get together. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the investment on your own also is very rewarding in certain way. Like if you think about at later stage of your life, not like busy on working and kids and stuff, you constantly think about what do you want, right? As a person, your life, what do you want? So for me, I got a lot of satisfaction helping people. Like you were asking, like when we just met, right? We sort of like just clicked, right? You were asking me this area, this house. I was giving you some advice and later helped you you were able to secure this house. So I'm so happy for you. And also the tennis world that I was helping people, and our team, I think we have a really great team where we're helping each other, we critique each other.
You're going to national.
And we're going to national, yeah, which is a great achievement because the team all work together. I think I see everybody improving significantly than some other teams. So I hope people are also appreciate me putting a lot of pressure on people saying, hey, you need to improve, we need a training. So I organize a lot of training, and I think leading us to national is a great achievement. Really happy for us.
It's not easy being through that, but the result's good. One of the reasons we got into that result, I think it's back to the way how you've been pushing yourself to learn, right? And then while we're doing our team, while we work together, you push the team to have a winning strategy. And then we all work on improving our skill sets, our play game, our strategy.
Right.
That makes us a different team.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tap into too much on tennis, but that's part of our passion, of course. We can see that.
For sure. Yeah.
So if you think about 20 or 30 years ago, what advice are you going to give it to yourself?
I sometimes think about that. If I were redo my career, what would I do, right? Sometimes I think one of the things, for example, my professional career, right? I worked for one company for more than 20 years. On the later part of the years, I felt like I wasn't challenged enough. And the company are big and everything moves kind of slow. And I didn't get enough challenge. And then I was like, should I move? Sometimes I was thinking of, should I quit, right? I remember I having this conversation with my son in the car where I was driving him to a place, and I was asking, he's like 16, 17 years old. I was like, should mom quit, find another job, or should I find another job and then quit? And then he was like, just quit and then look for another job. And I was like, yeah, how we are. Like
you don't understand the parents' responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
be the breadwinner. Yeah,
right. So we're a little bit of risk averse in that sense. So, but I end up leaving this very nice company and then jump into a much smaller company, which it's in a way it's kind of risk because a lot of my friends saying, hey, you should just hang out until you retire from that company, right? I didn't want to wait, so I jumped at that company. But in the hindsight, like you were asking me, I wish I actually did that earlier, like 5 years ago. Then I probably would have built another, in the other company, build a better career there, probably, right? Similar story on the other path of my career, as a financial planner. I was with one company for like 13, 14 years. For the later like 6-7 years, I wasn't even completely happy with that company. But I have a good friend there who's my manager or branch office manager. Good friends. I was like, I didn't want to quit on her and leave, right? So I just hang out there for a long time. But eventually, I just like, I need to see what's out there. And I checked out a few other companies, and eventually I left that company and moved to a different company. And I really like this company I'm currently working with. And again, like, I wish I did that move like, a few years earlier. So I think if you were asking like when, would you advise yourself 20, 30 years ago, if any, maybe just like my son, take a little risk, do it early. If you feel like it's time to quit or it's time to change direction, just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. Take the risk. Embrace the challenge and make it happen.
Yeah. You obviously have to evaluate things, but I think certain situation, quitting is better than, hanging there, right?
Yeah, that's right. So far, we have a lot of nice insights. Very good advice. But if there's any other additional advice to the amazing women business,
because we're talking about amazing women and also careers because most of the people we work with or hang out with are all professional, right? We work and juggle the family and kids and career and all those things. But recently, because I ran into quite a few, actually 3 situations. I have 3 people I was giving them financial advice, but a couple of them are long-term friends. And one of them was also, she's in her early 50s and she just got laid off. And she was really worried. And I was like, you worry too much, and your husband has a very good job, and you obviously weren't happy on your job, right? So when you just think this as an opportunity for you to start something on your own or what you like. And she was actually said, she's like, Sherry, I wish I did what you did like 15, 20 years ago, because I know you started when, when all kids are with similar age. She said, I wish I did it like you did, but now I'm in the 50s, it's a little bit too late. Oh, first of all, nothing is never too late, right? You can always start something. But second, though, I would give other people an advice if you, think about a backup plan. Like I said, average person get laid off 3 times. So if you are able to get to retirement, that's very lucky, right? So I would recommend if you do it and do it early. Find something you like. I know you are exploring all sorts of different things. Because if you keep an open mind, there are lots of opportunities, and especially in US, I think it's a very encouraging entrepreneurship, right? So I'd encourage people to do this, but nothing is easy. It's always hardworking. It's not like I am where I am today with a lot of hard work early years. So you have to work hard on. But if you find a passion, go pursue it. Yeah.
So you work hard and then equip yourself, learn hard, and then when you need to make a change, make it. Yeah. Just take the risk and make it. Yeah,
definitely.
That's a very good one. Do you have any favorite book? Or if you have any book that you want to give to your friend, what would that be?
So I do read quite a few books, but one of the things, one of the books called Outliers. You read that book?
Yeah, I read them a couple of years ago.
Because I read that book several times while I was doing this financial planning and grow my career. You know, there are certain times I doubt myself. So can I do this business? I spend all this time, I'm not making much money. Is it worth it, right? But the book talk about the outliers, meaning like statistic, most people are here and outliers here, right? So, and how do you become that outlier or superstar of something? It all comes from hard work, right? The book talk about you have to spend 10,000 hours to be good at something. And if you think about as a normal job, you know, each year you spend about $2,000 on that job, right? As a full-time job.
Yeah.
So 10,000 hours, meaning 5 years of full-time job, then you can be good at something. So, and then I was doing that as a side business, right? So I probably spend 10 to 20 hours per week. Let's say 20 hours per week on the side, you know, evenings and weekends. But that would also mean it may almost take you 10 years to be really good at something. So early year or two, if you're not making money, if you're not good at it, it's very natural. It's, you know, it's just a part of the growing, right? So that book, if you are doing something that, you know, you are new to it, you know, read that book. It's going to take you a while to get better at something. Same thing like tennis, right? You have to do a lot of drills to get better. So yeah, I love that book. Yeah.
Yes, I think I need to read that book again. Just give myself more momentum to help me improve my tennis game.
Oh, the other book. You know, I was thinking, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
We read that book. My husband and I read the book because we were getting into the real estate business because there's a lot of being recommended in the real estate business. But for any business, you know, if you want to do a different business or entrepreneurship kind of business, you should read that book. That's a great book to get a lot of insights.
I think they have some passive income idea there.
Right? That's the whole point. That this person who has two dads, like his own dad is a professor, just make a living, right? His other dad, which is his good friend's father, who owns the business, and taught him and his good friend how to become a business owner and you know, develop his own business. So it's really fun book to read.
Yes, we still have the Chinese version of that book that my husband shipped all the way from China into everywhere, and into North Carolina, then to Maryland, then to Tennessee, then now here, Pennsylvania. Yes, I love that book too. Yeah. I agree. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and a lot of insight here. But I think my key takeaway here is, you know, work hard, invest on yourself to improve yourself, and then when you want to make some change, don't hesitate. Just go for it. And then just embrace all the challenges.
Good summary, Debbie.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Yes.
Being a player on Sherry's tennis team is definitely a mixed experience. It's fun, but it's far from easy. She consistently pushes us out of our comfort zones, challenging us to learn new techniques and refine our game strategy. What's fascinating is how her leadership on the tennis court mirrors her approach to life and business, constantly investing in herself, attending trainings, learning new skills, and sharpening her entrepreneurial and leadership abilities. To self-improvement, coupled with her life philosophy, prepare for the worst and strive for the best, has been the driving force to bring her to where she is today. It's a reminder for me, and probably all of us here, that growth requires stepping out of our comfort zones and embracing challenges head-on. With dedication, we can continue to evolve, both personally and professionally. Thank you for joining us on Amazing Women in Business. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget to share this episode with another amazing woman in business who will benefit from our community and content. Together, we can empower more women to achieve their full potential. Until next time, keep thriving and breaking barriers.